Hi my lovelies, it's Ghoul and today we are going to be making the House of Tomorrow from Fallout 4. It's the house you start off in and it's pretty iconic to the series, and mixing The Sims and Fallout is the perfect way to spend a day in my opinion. Here we're looking at the basic floor plan. I have studied the interior of the house and I do have my resident Fallout expert with me, the Geekbox, and I will tag all of his stuff in the bio because he is an amazing Fallout player and honestly I couldn't have done it without his help. This has been the most complicated build I've done in a very long time. The windows and the roof caused me easily half an hour plus of just pure stress, but it was so worth it to see it all kind of come together. I will say there will be some changes made which will happen in part 2, and I will add some more of like the decorations and the pieces as I do now have the vintage pack for The Sims. Here we're just kind of going through the car space. I figured that we should include it up to the pavement and then add in a little bit of the stairs. We kind of raised the house a little bit so it looked a bit more like seamless with the stairs, I want to say. We added them to the carport and the front of the house, and then we added like the little details in. I will say this isn't as accurate as I would like, as I say I'm only working with the base part to kind of see how much we could get done with it, but I will say whatever I see here we will definitely do a part 2, and we'll make it look like, make it look really good. So I will say the roof, as you can see, it definitely took me a little hot minute to kind of do, and I do mess around with it a little bit here, but overall I am happier with it. I think I might change the colour, but yeah, definitely was a thorn in my side but I think it looks alright. So what we're going to do now is just go through each room and think about where placement is. Geek realised that there was an alcove by the front of the door, so we needed to heavily include that as it's a big part of the beginning of the game. So we kind of chip away at this floor a little bit. We kind of keep the alcove as is. We want to include as many details as we can, because we want it to be as accurate as we can. I know that 100% it was difficult to do, but I definitely would do it again. Realising that little alcove needed to be there. And we were talking about whether or not to include a little utility room at the end, and we might include it in part 2, but for now we'll see. I kind of wanted to include some lighting. I always use the little lights just to map out where things go. I often change them out for ones after, but I definitely feel these are the brightest in the game, so I kind of thought that this would be the best way to do that. I love the front door. The front door isn't 100% accurate, but it's still yellow and it still has those traditional like futuristic little slats in that you can see the Vault-Tec representative through in the beginning of the game. Now we kind of go through the windows. They are yellow based. I will say for most of the windows it kind of worked. We could kind of do the front, and we can add all the little side windows in, and then we'd add them around the house. So they did have massive windows into Sean's room, into the main part of the living room, into the utility room, and the corner of the house. This was the most trickiest thing, and as you can see I changed my mind about 100 times about where the placement of the window is. I'm still not happy with it, so I think that would be part 2, going back in and having a look at the final product. They definitely were the hardest to build, because it's in a really unusual placement in the corner of the house, so we will see. And then we just added the 2 little ones for ventilation in the bathroom. The house itself is a really pale blue colour, which I think is hilarious because blue and yellow are the Vault-Tec colours. And then we kind of wanted to put in some white panelling on the roof, just to blend it all in together, and we can add this extra room. So this is where a little bit of the inaccuracy peeved me a little bit, because I wanted to include a little window there, but obviously there is no space. I felt that would have tied it in a little better, but maybe we can work on that for part 2. Now we start doing some of the terrain, because there are some bushes and shrubs outside the front. They are a lot more taller in the game. This is probably the best that we had at the time. yeah, and then I'm not gonna lie, I faffed a little bit here too. But yeah, so I figured that we should just include them. I might change them out, I don't know, I'm not 100% on them. And then we added the little fencing part here, went back in with the sidewalk pieces to add them, so it blends in a little more. So we looked further, then we looked at the kind of flooring and the windows for the front, realizing that the window itself isn't it should have been out instead of in. So me being me, I faffed a little bit here as well. I thought that it should be out one more, and looking back at it, I think that does probably look a lot better, a lot cleaner than I thought. Going around the house, just making sure that it was all put in, and then I realised it was 3 panels and not 2, so that definitely helped, considering I wasn't still happy with the windows on the side. So in all the interior shots, the living room has white paneling. This one is a lot thinner. We kind of went with a kid's general like wallpaper for Sean's room. And then white for the rest. Every interior shot I looked at, it was very plain and very basic, and I might go in and change it after like looking at some interiors some more, and then finding the floor. So the floor is lino, and like there's rugs covering all the important things like the furniture, but as you can see, I don't really have a lot of nice lino, so we kind of went for a very basic kind of like rubbery concrete, which is kind of fits the same colour. Here's going back into that alcove. Here it is the coat rack and the little shelving unit. I figured that the coat rack would look a little better than just a closet. So we went through our decorations. As you can see, very basic packs. And yeah, I think it looks good. I think it looks good there. So as you can see, there are some bits that I have already done that unfortunately we missed on the clip, including the amazing blue kitchen with these amazing Jetson style chairs, and going back into the island for the kitchen. We kind of wanted it there and realised that the window and the door should be moved a little bit, so I feel it fits a bit better now. My favourite thing is this room. I love the fact that the kitchen and the living room kind of look a lot like it. I feel that it's, I don't know, it's as true as it could be with the base pack. We'll see what we can do in part 2. I love the colours, I love the simplicity of it all. I think, I don't know, there's just something about it that really just makes me want to play Fallout 4 again. So I've tried to include as many base details here just so we can know where things go. But as I say, through part 2, we will definitely change it up. We'll decorate some more and we will go from there. I have included some basic bedside furniture, but I do think that we can go in and redo some little bits. So this is going to be Sean's room. This is the baby in the game. Obviously, I'm not going to release any spoilers here, but yeah, he is an integral part of the game. So we're just going to include some little bits here that I do over in the game, which is like the bedside tables and the mobile. There's a special bit in the game where you play it because he's crying, and yeah, I just feel like it needed to be included. But as I say, I will be going through this bedroom and I will just be like sharpening some bits up in part 2, but for now I was just enjoying putting everything all together, like the start of the puzzle, like when you go for the corner pieces, and we will fill in the middle at another time. I kind of just wanted to include the very, very basics, and curtains. I just thought I'd get the big job done. Me and curtains have never got on Sims 4, but I wanted to get some that really just completed the room, so at least it was one room concept that we could kind of say was almost done and we could change it when we needed to. Trying to find curtains that fit the rest of the windows was a bit of a challenge, but I feel that we've done that as well. I will say we kind of went with the same kind of colour scheme throughout them because it fits the windows. Trying to find curtains for this window was hard. I'm not quite sure I like the fact that we've went with 3 separate ones, but it will do for now. As I say, part 2 is all about polishing, and I was definitely going to leave those windows in the corner alone. We kind of went with the utility room. There is one with a washing machine, a Mr. Handy box, all of that stuff in. So for now I just chucked some stuff in so that I could kind of put it together as a concept, so we can kind of work through it at part 2. like some boxes here and there and some like general clutter, just because I thought it would like pull together the room a little bit. And also I have to include that amazing hamper, which I always see in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, so I always mention it in my Sims build that's what it reminds me of. So for now, this is the very basics. I think it looks good. I think we can definitely improve on some bits. I've just gone in with just some very basic 50s retro style kind of paintings and things, but we will change it. And now looking back at it, I can definitely see a really good part 2. I feel that we've got the basic shape down. It's just polishing, and I think, as anyone will know, the Fallout series is an incredible series for its art and for its design. So I think we did alright for our first time. And as you can see, I went back in with those windows. I still wasn't as impressed as I should have been. So these windows are the bane of my life, and I will definitely change them in part 2 because I still feel that these weren't 100% true to what I wanted. And I went back in because I forgot to do the storage box for the carport and the mailbox. So those are the last 2 things for our finishing objects. I will say this has been a joy and, you know, a complicated build, but it was really, really good. I really appreciate it, and I'm so looking forward to part 2. I really think we've done so much in this first one, and I'm so excited for the next part. So thank you so much for watching. Check out our videos here, and of course, if you like our content, please click the like and subscribe buttons, and I will see you all next time for some more amazing Fallout Sims goodness. So until then, take care.